Yeah, Chris is out in Long Island. That's where my whole family is from. At least my parents.
Lima, Peru. That's different.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to jump in and get started. I'm Jay Fairbrother. I'm here with Josh Zeppis. The webinar today is from Skip the Marketing, track the right people into the top of your funnel, and profits are now personal. Josh, what do we mean by that?
Well, what we mean by that is we're people today are dying for authenticity. That's what that means. People want to know the truth. They want you to be a human being in business. And we're going to be talking about the client acquisition process. We're going to be talking about marketing funnels today. And we're going to be talking about how to bring our humanity back to the funnel, back to the process of building relationships and finding clients. And the cool part about doing that is not only is it more fun, because we get to tell the truth, right? We get to be ourselves. We get to be personal with people, but it's actually more profitable. So I guess you can call that double the fun, maybe.
Yeah. To me, what this means is that, COVID changed the culture in so many ways. And we, sort of with all the isolation around COVID, I notice a shift in terms of my own clients and people that I help. They really, the sort of impersonal marketing just isn't working in the same ways it used to. It doesn't mean it doesn't work, but it's just seems to be less effective now. So let's jump in. We got a question for you to lead this off, and that is, if you could put in the chat, how much money have you already spent to date on your coaching business, on courses, summits, coaches, websites, landing pages, sales funnels, paid ads, paid lead gen? Just throw a number in the chat in terms of what if you added it all up. Josh, what's your answer?
I'm embarrassed to say. I really don't want to say.
Don't be embarrassed. Whatever
good.
The number is, yeah. Yeah, we've got a 30.
We'll put in six figures. I'll just leave it at that. That's good enough.
There we go. There's a six figures.
Yeah.
Francois says $100,000 plus. Yeah.
Francois is awesome. I love that dude. He's such a cool guy.
And Don says 30,000. Yeah, boy, does it add up. And that's so the reason that we're here is because in the clients that Josh and I work with, we identified that a lot of coaches get stuck. They get some clients, and then they start spending money on all these things on this slide, and that money adds up very quickly. And you get to a point where you may not have enough clients and revenue to cover these kinds of costs, 30,000, 100,000, and more. So, that's really why we're here is how do we solve that problem? So let me ask you.
Jay, real quick. Let's be honest though. We don't know what else to do. And I'm talking as a coach from years ago when I first started. We don't know what else to do. This is what we're told to do. We don't know that there's even another option beyond these things. And you're right. We're just not getting the ROI on it. That's really the key.
Yeah, and that is the key. So what is your ROI been on all the marketing expenses, all those things on that previous slide? Are you positive in your ROI? Are you break even, negative? Or if you're like me, it's like sticking a needle in your eye when I look at how much money I've spent on marketing in terms of, trying to equate an actual return to that. Mike's just threw in the chat that he spent $10,000 so far without any ROI on it. And you're not alone, Mike. That's the reason we're all here. That is such a commonality to the people that I work with. And for me, it's definitely the needle in the eye. All right, so let's jump right in here. Let's make sure you're in the right place. If you've done paid ads or other lead gen efforts with negative ROI, you've spent money with other gurus who didn't deliver, you're getting in front of the wrong prospects, or you're not comfortable and confident in selling. you're tired of buying all these easy pills. And let's face it, as soon as we hang coach as a shingle on our social media platforms, we're bombarded. I mean, Josh, how many a day do you get?
Probably a dozen a day, people reaching out with this marketing scheme or gimmick or ploy, or use this script. They call these special scripts. I call them tired old business pickup lines. Yeah, constantly. And the thing is, all these things that Jay just listed, these are essentially easy pills. We're trying to find this one quick little thing we can do that make our business go kablooey. And it doesn't work that way. Because we're basically trying to ignore the personal aspect. Like when we say profits are personal, we mean it's going to take us developing ourselves a little bit. And there's no magic pill that's going to make you lose all the weight you want. And there's no magic pill that's going to bring all the clients into the business that you want.
Absolutely. So let's just make sure you're not in the wrong place. If your goal is to sell low price programs, your goal is to brag about your huge email list. You have time to do Zoom calls with anyone who's willing to jump on a call. If you love doing sales calls, I've yet to meet a coach who loves doing sales calls.
Hey, come on, we're all introverted people. We don't like doing sales calls. It's like that's sticking a needle in our eye.
That's another topic altogether. Introverts. You're willing to coach anyone willing to pay, or you have enough coaching clients. If that's you, then you could probably jump off right now, because we're talking to the people who are on the first slide in terms of where you're at with things. So let's give a little bit of background on Josh and I. I'm a serial entrepreneur for the last 30 years. I've on my 9th business, The Profit Architects. And how I got involved with helping coaches is that I hired a LinkedIn lead gen company, talk about expense, a few years ago for myself. And I started working with the president of the company, giving him some sales coaching. He had me work with some of their other employees. And at some point I went to them and I said, look, you guys are great at what you do. You're getting, people in front of 4 to 5 people a week for Zoom calls. But if they suck at the other end of those calls in terms of the ability to convert them into clients, then it doesn't matter how good your lead gen is on LinkedIn. So we developed these packages for some of their clients that include sales coaching from me. And so over the last couple of years, I've worked with almost 100 of their clients, most of whom are coaches and consultants, and I've helped them increase their conversion rates dramatically. And it's been a very successful program. So that's why I'm here. Josh?
Yeah. And by the way, I've seen Jay work, and the stuff he does is absolutely amazing, because Jay and I have the same heart when it comes to bringing humanity to the business, when it comes to developing people and making them better at their craft. So for me, some of you might already know me as the identity archaeologist. And essentially everything I do is balanced around that exact concept, bringing humanity back to a person's business, helping people raise the level of every conversation they have so that they can move from every business first impression into the second. Because isn't that the goal? That's what we want to do. We want to move conversations forward. We want to be talking at such a high level that we position ourselves uniquely and we can differentiate from every other coach out there, every other consultant, because I know what it's like to live as shy. I did the corporate America thing as a shy, negative, skeptical, introverted engineer. And I know what it's like to keep my head down and to try and make things work without really standing for anything. And I changed that several years ago, and it was one of the best decisions I've made. And that's really where I'm focused, is helping people stand for something and then take that uniqueness, take that genius that's been buried inside, bring it to the surface, articulate it, and shout it from the rooftops. And I'm telling you, when you can do that, there's nothing that can stop you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump right in here. Why most awesome coaches aren't creating an awesome coaching business. We've identified 3 fatal flaws that we think happens to most coaches as they start to build things out. And starting with, you think your funnel alone is going to convert high-end clients, that all you need is the magic funnel. Josh, you want to jump in here?
Yeah. This is that quick pill we've been talking about. We think we're just going to buy this system. We're going to buy a funnel. We're going to buy a quick pill, and it's just going to cure everything. We're going to get all the clients coming in. But let's be very clear. I want to make sure everyone understands the client acquisition process, because there's 3 very distinct stages, and you're going to want to write these down. The first stage is called branding and messaging. The second stage is called marketing, and the third is sales, the sales conversation. And what tends to happen is we take marketing, and it's been redefined as everything. Let me be very clear. Marketing is not the answer. Marketing is an answer when the time is right. So that first stage I call branding and messaging, that is your message. That is what you're actually saying to people. Marketing at its purest form is the amplifier of that message. Let me say that one more time. Marketing is the amplifier. So marketing takes whatever that message is that you have, and it makes it louder. It puts it in front of more people's eyes. And then finally, the sales conversation is where you can go and once someone comes into your orbit and they're actually interested in your products, how do you convert them to a client? How do you have that proper conversation? So there's these three, and I bring that up because the first flaw we see is people buy this marketing concept and they think it's just going to automatically work. So here's a typical marketing funnel. If you notice in the beginning, it's oversaturated with marketing. We take that personal first step and we do these cold first impressions. We send out a cold email, or we do a cold social media post, or we do something that's just kind of uses a borrowed script, or it uses just some words we think people will like. And we think that's going to make them fall in love with us, and then go into our marketing part. And then we get to the end and we go into a sales conversation. We're like, will you please hire me? And people don't even, it's like they don't even really know you yet at that point. You haven't opened your heart to them. They really haven't gotten a sense of why you're unique. So that's really how a lot of these systems work. And frankly, it just, Jay and I were looking at this, we're like, this pisses us off. This is not the right way to do business, especially when people are truly dying for authenticity.
Yeah, and I want to add that, we're not saying there's anything wrong with marketing.
No.
Marketing is brilliant, but the way we look at it is marketing is more of a long play. It's the long game. In other words, if marketing is great for building your online authority and credibility over time. It's great for nurturing. It's great for as Josh said, amplifying your message. So that, we're not saying don't do marketing.
Correct.
What we're saying is most coaches get stuck in this lots of marketing phase, and they're not getting the right people into the funnel, and then they're not good at converting them into clients. And that's
another way to
talking
put that.
About.
Another way to put that, Jay, just to play off what you're saying, is marketing without those other two steps. Putting so much emphasis on marketing without the emphasis on the message and the first impression and the sales conversation is a huge waste of money.
And Josh and I are, point in case where you can minimize the marketing. You can go from creating that, from that first impression right to the sales process and convert high-end clients with $1,000 plus offers. And that's the thing that we're sort of tricked into thinking isn't possible, because there's so many gurus out there trying to sell you sales funnels. And
exactly. We're marketed into thinking it's not possible. Isn't that ironic?
Exactly. Right. And again, so there's not, there's a place for the marketing, but if you want to take your business to the next level and just get more clients quickly, you can do it with this squeezing the marketing funnel to look like this. So the second flaw is that you think the answer is just getting more leads into the funnel. And again, this is what we're marketed to and quote unquote educated to believe, is that it's just a numbers game. So if you get 1,000 people into the funnel and 10 of them drip out, that's great, because that's 10 potential clients. And that's fine if you want to play that game, but man, is it expensive to get 1,000 people into your funnel, especially in the short term, because you're going to have to spend money to do it. So Josh, talk about this whole concept of just getting more leads coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the simple concept to me of quality versus quantity. Because like you just said, Jay, you can get all the quantity you want, but who are you attracting? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Who am I attracting? Am I attracting the right people that are ready to do business with me? They need what I have, and they believe in my mission. Because look, let's face it, coaching, consulting, hopefully I don't offend anyone, but if I ruffle your feathers, I promise it's from a place of love and good intention. But coaching and consulting is a commodity. Remember that. Those, let's call this the C, the three C's. Coaching and consulting is a commodity. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of consultants. So are you attracting the people that are the right fit for you? That's the question. And so we think that we just get all these leads coming in, and that's fine, and we're going to filter them out somehow. But what if your message, let's call it your brand. What if your message, your brand, things you were saying, how you were saying it, was actually based around your uniqueness? That it was you articulated, it was your heart, it was your mission, your stand, your purpose, your vision. It was all these things that now when your perfect prospect sees you, they fall in love immediately. So not only do they filter into your funnel, but by the time they get to the bottom of your funnel, they're probably about 80% closed already. Because remember, people do business with who they like and trust in that order. Like happens first, then trust happens. But if like never happens, you'll never get the opportunity to earn their trust. That sales conversation is not going to go too well if you're bringing people in that don't even like you. They're just kind of maybe curious or playing around, or maybe they click yes on every single time they see a coach thing. And they don't even like, I don't know why I could. Yes, I just do it for fun. Maybe they just want us to make, they want you to spend more money because if you're paying per click and that kind of stuff. So all leads are not good leads. It is a numbers game, but you want to make sure you're attracting the right people in. And I guess I have a pro tip here, huh? So talk about what you do. All right. Let me share this pro tip real quick because this is fun. What you do is not what you do, at least as far as you might think about it. So I'm going to give this little mind hack, this small little trick. And I'm going to use insurance as an example. I was in the insurance business. This was a fun one. So when I talk to an insurance person, I always ask them, say, what do you do? And guess what they say? I sell insurance and investments. And the first thing I think of is, oh my God, that's not what you do. That's how you do what you do. I want to know what you do. What you do is the transformation, right? What you do is you make sure that, I'll use this example, that if I die in a car accident tomorrow, my wife doesn't have to go onto GoFundMe and beg for money, because no person should ever have to beg and grieve at the same time. Maybe that's what you do. And then how you do it is by selling me insurance. So when someone asks you, what do you do? This is just a quick little tip. There's a lot more to this. But when someone asks you what you do, I want you to change your mindset around this. And I want you to think only in terms of transformation, not the how, because we get really caught up in talking about how we do it. Well, I do coaching services. I do consulting services. I'm a management consultant. Start thinking a little bit higher. Start thinking about the transformation. And I think you're going to see your conversations are really going to start changing. And when those change, your results are going to change also. So there's a little pro tip, let's call it.
All right. And then fatal flaw number 3 is that you're losing too many people out the bottom of your funnel. And I call it stop the leaks. You spend all this money getting people into your funnel, getting them through there. And then at the end, you're not converting at as high a ratio as you could be. There's no magic answer to this. This is called selling. And most coaches are uncomfortable with selling. Most coaches do what I call show up and throw up. I refer to how you should sell as exactly how you want to coach, or you would coach, or you do coach, meaning that no coach is going to show up at their first client session and talk 70% of the time. You instinctually know that's wrong. Yet I can't tell you how many sales calls I've seen with coaches who that they're at least talking 70 or 80% of the time on a discovery call or initial sales call with someone, and it's just backwards. So the question is, what if you weren't afraid of getting personal? What if you had more confidence in the selling process? I always say selling is 80% confidence and 20% art. Sales is not a science, because as soon as marketing can be a science. Marketing can be tested and you can do split testing and that kind of stuff, because it's a one-way conversation. Sales is not a science in any respect, because every conversation is different. But if you think about, any great artist, musician, athlete, they learn basic skills before they become great at anything. And they work on those skills and develop those skills. As they do that, they get more confidence. And I've seen so many times in helping coaches with their selling, just a few little tips can increase their confidence tremendously. And that confidence can make up for a lot of lack in terms of skill, and you know, the art part. So you don't have to become a great selling artist to dramatically increase your confidence and your results. So one of the things that I work on with coaches in terms of the selling process is the use of stories, because most coaches, again, they launch into what I call professor speak. They're so eager to show their prospect how smart they are and how they can help people and what their process is and how they're different, that it just becomes what I call the Charlie Brown teacher syndrome, where it's wah, 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 wah. And part of an easy way to get around that kind of that professor speak, which totally makes people tune out, it turns off their active listening. If you can say the same things embedded in a story of how you help someone with a similar pain point, with a similar issue, with a similar challenge, or wanting a similar result, suddenly, number one, it turns on the active listening. Number two, it's not salesy, because you're not just rattling off a litany of all the things you do and how you're wonderful and you know, how many people you've helped. You're just telling a story. And so one of the things I work with is how to tell stories, when to tell stories, when is, you know, which story is the right story to tell at the right time. So that's another mistake a lot of coaches make, is they understand that stories are good to use in selling. So they'll come up with one or two stories and use those same stories over and over. And what I try to teach people to do is learn to customize the story you're telling based on the person you're talking to. And that's one of the things that I love getting into with coaches. So
this reminds me, Jay, this reminds me of one of the keys that, you know, people buy an emotion, I say 103% of the time. And they back it up later with logic. So what you're talking about is perfect, because stories is how we connect emotionally to that other person and how they connect to us and how they see themselves in that story. So yeah, 100%. I mean, this is going back to humanity again, right? This is going back to just being more human in our relationships and our conversations.
Yeah, and authentic. I mean, that's the, you know, the other issue that most coaches have when they get to the sales process is it's almost like they put on the selling mask, right? Like, yeah, they're totally in the moment and authentic up until the point they start, you know, having to talk about their packages and pricing and you know, God forbid I have to quote unquote close someone or ask them to buy. That's when they, you know, I see this on sales calls all the time. Their body language changes, their tone of voice changes, that you can see the confidence just drop right out of the room when they get to that point in the process.
Because we don't like selling, right? We almost avoid the process sometimes. Some coaches, some of us just, we'd rather not even ask the question, right? And we get stuck there. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So those are the problems that we see commonly with coaches and what they're doing. So, you know, what are your options? Well, you can find and buy more shiny objects. And if you resonate with that, then you're definitely in the right place.
You might get lucky too, by the way. You might find that exact right system that is perfectly adapted to your style, that the person who came up with it has the exact same mindset and life experience as you, such that, you know, when you use it, it's authentic to you, just like it was authentic to the person selling it. You know, because I've seen so many of these where someone says, hey, I used this script and it made me $1 million in 30 days. Yay, good for you. Great. If you're telling the truth on that, but let's assume you are. That's awesome. So that's your truth. That worked for you. Now you want me to say your words and that's supposed to work. Now, if I use your words, I'm lying. And that's why it doesn't work for everyone else, because when we use their words, their truth, it means we're lying. And that's one of the challenges. But you might find that you might get lucky and find that perfect system that's in perfect alignment with what you're looking for and looking to do. And it might work. But that's a gamble. That's a very large risk.
Or you're like me and you have many courses that you've purchased and are somewhere on your computer that you've never even
You've
opened
never
up
even opened
or looked at.
Oh yeah.
So your other option, of course, is to do it yourself. You can Google branding, watch videos, you can
True.
read sales books, watch videos on sales and that kind of thing. And again, all you're getting there is knowledge. And there's a huge difference between knowledge and skill. And that's why we came up with this Skip the Marketing program.
There's one more thing, Jay. You can DIY. I want to make a point about DIY here that a lot of folks don't consider, and I had to consider for a long time. Everything technically is DIY if you have enough time, energy, and money. Like you can DIY your own root canal. You can DIY flying across the country. You can get your pilot's license, buy a plane or rent a plane, right? Learn how to fly. You could do all that. But is that really your expertise? Is it really worth your time, energy, and money to DIY it? And then possibly to only do it half-assed, not to be able to do it as well as an expert or someone who can teach you how to do it. So just keep that in mind. DIY is not always less expensive.
So we created Skip the Marketing to try to help you learn how to develop some of these skills. And again, we just talked about, courses that are sitting on the shelf. So what we didn't want to do is just come out with a course and hope that you take action on it and do anything with it. So what we developed is both, a course with 6 modules in it, and a weekly mastermind group coaching environment where you can come to the weekly sessions and we can do some role plays and we can work through some of the things that we've offered in the course content. Because that's the difference between that knowledge and skill, is when you create a feedback loop through coaching, that's where you really learn how to fish, instead of just, oh, okay, I read that, I've got some knowledge now. But putting that into action is a completely different source. So, Josh.
And I want to add one more. If you go back real quick, Jay, I want to add, so knowledge, skill, and then I want to add assets. Assets could be, they could be something like tools, let's call it. So imagine building a house. You know how to build a house. You got some skills on how to use a hammer and a saw and all that kind of stuff. But you also need the tools. And that's the other thing that's going to be part of this. Is we're going to be building assets with you, your assets, not ours. These are things that you're going to own. You're going to have your purpose, mission, vision. You're going to have networking pitch. You're going to have certain assets on the sales conversation side. And I also want to point out very clearly, because I don't know, maybe I'm just fired up because I just finished working out. So Jay, if I talk too much, tell me to shut up. Mastermind. I want to be clear on this because this also kind of pisses me off. The word mastermind has been hijacked and has been kind of watered down out there. You've probably seen the word mastermind 1,000 times, and I don't want it to get lost here, because mastermind is not networking. It's not just sitting on a group call and listening to someone talk on Zoom. A true mastermind means your butt goes onto what they typically call a hot seat. We call it a love seat because we're going to love you to death. But it's designed for every week, you're going to get an opportunity to sit on a love seat, and we're going to work on a very specific block or challenge or problem or something that you're working through, whether it be in the course or outside of the course, every single week. Think of it like the pebble in your shoe. A mastermind is not about solving world peace. We're not going to go and solve all your problems and make you a millionaire tomorrow, but we're going to get that pebble out of your shoe. We're all going to mastermind together, everyone in the group. And we're going to get that out of your shoes so you can put your shoes back on and keep running straight forward. And because that's really what it's about. It's about keep moving forward through the program, through your learning, your expertise, your skills, and applying it immediately in your business. So sorry, Jay, I just wanted to make sure that was very, very clear that this is an actual mastermind, not the watered down BS version.
So Josh, talk about the modules that you've included in the course content. And again, this is a combination. This is your knowledge part, but we also have built in some exercises and things that you can bring to those group sessions to work on. So Josh, give us a little overview here of the first three modules in the course part.
Yeah. So we talked about in the beginning, like, how do you make such a compelling first impression to the world that people are so excited, they love you to death, they're excited to work with you, so that when you get to the sales conversation, they're ready to go, right? They're already, there's no more hurdles, so to speak, in your way. So one of the first ways is, I call it the micro brand. And so this is not a full brand. We're not going to go through and do a $40,000 brand experience and get a brand agency on board and all kind of stuff. But we're going to work on the brand core, which is going to give you your mission, vision, purpose, stand, things like that. And what that's going to do, as we clarify those things, you're going to see your confidence start to go up. Because when you're clear on why you get out of bed every morning, you're clear on why you're in business, all of a sudden, you got this higher level of confidence. Like the fog has cleared and you're more confident to drive really fast down a very straight, very smooth road. And then from confidence, we hit conviction. That's the ultimate goal. And conviction is what happens when everything you do goes from your head to your heart. In fact, it's no longer what you do, it's now what you are. And that's another whole topic that's very special. But the thing here to realize is you are the only unique thing in your business. And therefore, how do we take you and your uniqueness and bring it to the front of your message instead of your product and service? That goes, you got to step in front of that. Then we talk about prospecting, networking. So now once you clear, now how do you articulate that to the world? How do you go network and prospect? And how do you answer the question, what do you do? And how do you get rid of all the scripts? There's really, if someone brings me a script, I just go, right? I just tear it up and say, get rid of it. We're stripping the script. We're getting out of here. We don't need it. We do something called flow, which is, once you're clear on why you exist, how do you want your energy and your emotion to flow when you're describing it? And then really, if you remember, every business first impression has one main goal, and that's to get to the second impression. It's not to sell. You're not going to sell somebody your services on a first impression. It's not going to happen. It's not supposed to happen, even though we try sometimes. So we're not going to be going there. We're going to be getting people to the second impression, which is where you're going to be working with Jay. And then how do you present? How do you take an audience and how do you have a one-on-one conversation with 1,000 people all at the same time? How do you tell your story? And not just your story, but how do you tell the right story? So this is different than Jay's stories. This is your own personal story. And how do you work that into your first impressions? And how do you get over the fear of public speaking? By the way, I am a severe introvert. I spent 20 years in a cubicle not talking to the public as a very shy, negative, skeptical engineer. I'm telling you, I know introversion, and I still practice it a lot. But there's ways to overcome that. There's ways to actually use that to your advantage. I don't want to say overcome it like it's an issue, but use it to your advantage. So we go through that, and there's more. This is just kind of a quick overview, but that's what this is about. This is the first three modules and the first stage, so that you can get out there and shine and not have to be shy ever again.
Awesome. And then we cover in the second half of the course content, how to sell. I mentioned selling like you coach. We get into reasons people don't buy and the biggest mistakes that coaches make in selling, talk about how to sell with authenticity and integrity. The last thing you want to do as a coach is appear like a salesperson. And in most of my 30 years as an entrepreneur building sales teams and doing sales training, I have almost 100% of the time, close to 100% of the time, only worked giving sales coaching to people who have no prior sales experience or in a professional setting, because most of those people come in with bad habits that I don't want to deal with or untrain them on how to do. So we get into the stories and specifics on discovery calls and how to conduct them, how to get to that next call, which is the follow-up call, so that you can ask for the sale at that point. There's a lot of strategy that go into discovery calls. And again, understanding what your purpose is on the discovery call, which isn't, again, to make the sale. It's to get to that next call where you're going to dive into deeper in terms of what their issues are and how you can help them. Focus a lot on ROI. To me, it's always about the ROI, and you've got to learn how to convey ROI at every touch point in your process, whether it's the first impression, the discovery call, or the follow-up call. It always comes down to converting someone to think about what the return is if they work with you versus looking at you as an expense. That's the entire key to quote unquote selling. And then also being able to authentically ask for the sale, handling what in the sales world is called objections. Objections, that's a nasty word in itself. All objections are fears, concerns, and unanswered questions in the prospect's mind, or they still haven't they haven't landed on the ROI yet. And so we work with ways that you can do that. Again, all of this is knowledge at this point, although I do have some exercises in here to start working on this, but it's the group coaching sessions where we really are going to dive into helping you on a love seat, as Josh said, basis, to help you really get better at this, because even slight improvements in your sales process go right to the bottom line. You've already spent all the money and time to get them in front of you. If you don't convert them, if you lose them at that point, that's just money out the door. And if you get them at that point, that's additional revenue right to your bottom line. And that's what we're going to work on in this program.
Yeah, hot seat sounds too scary, man. So I don't want people to be scared of being on the hot seat. Some people don't like the spotlight; it gets a little too hot. But really, it's the intention is to help you every single time you're on a call, so you get something specific out of it. And so I prefer the term love seat.
So in this program, Josh and I participate equally. If we were to offer our modules individually, we would price it around $2,500. The weekly group coaching session could actually be valued much higher than that because of just the nature of building skills versus just putting knowledge in there together. So two experts for the price of one, or as I like to say, two bald guys for the price of one. And I can't guarantee we're always going to show up wearing blue shirts, but we will show up bald. That I can pretty much guarantee. So the way we price this program is figuring on what's your ROI. So again, because we're focused on the high-end clients, if you're bringing on a client for at least $1,000 or more, then it's only a few clients for you to justify the ROI to make the investment in this. So we're offering this program for $24.97 on a regular basis. But what we're going to do is give you a special offer here in 1 minute for showing up today, which we appreciate. The last thing, and probably the most important, is that we will guarantee your results in this program. We will not let you fail. So if by the end of the program, and we have no way to track this, so this is on your honor and your word. If you say, nope, I didn't get $2,000 or $3,000 worth of revenue back from what I learned in your program, then Josh and I will work with you one-on-one until that happens and until you feel satisfied. You want us to jump on a sales call? We're happy to
we'll hop on a sales call. We're going to make a list of everyone that said no to you, and we're going to be going after and rekindling relationships, whatever it takes, because we're going to show you that this does work.
And we're also throwing in some additional things, how to be a LinkedIn legend, and upgrade your LinkedIn profile. Again, all part of Josh's attracting the right people into the funnel with your messaging and branding. I have an exercise called Find Your Profit Why. Most people know about, your why, right? The Simon Sinek, understand your business why. I take it a step further and let's look at your profit why. Why do you want to actually make money? What are you going to do with it? And then, the last piece of that is how do we build more profit into your business? So those are some bonuses that we're throwing into the course as well. And then, as I mentioned, we've got a special offer for those who sign up here in the next 24 hours. And that's what we call our fast mover bonus. We've got an entire module on how to organically attract the right people into your funnel. So this is strategies for how to get people in without spending money. And that's if you sign up for this program within the next 24 hours.
How many hours did we spend on that, or did we end up recording? Because there was so much stuff coming out of us, we just didn't want to stop. I want to say, did you say it was like 3 hours or something, or 4?
Yeah, it's almost 3 hours of content. We went into this thinking, this will be about an hour. We'll go through all these steps and ideas, and it ended up just the bonus module alone ended up being about 3 hours worth of stuff. And again, this is all stuff that you can come to the group coaching session and discuss with us and get our ideas and other people in the group to help you with this, getting organic traffic. Again, our focus is getting you more clients quickly and building your client base and revenue to a point that then, if you want, then you can go back in and build the fancy marketing funnel, because now you've got more clients and more revenue. So just to recap, you get the 6 course modules, you get 6 group coaching sessions, the 2 bonuses, 2 experts for the price of 1, no additional need for marketing expenditures to make this program work for you. And we'll give you our ROI guarantee. And that is basically what we're offering in this program. And in a moment, we will do some Q&A. Let me put this link into the process. Josh, let's talk about the 24-hour thing and why we did that.
Yeah, I think, the reason we did that is we're kind of putting our money where our mouth is, where look, if it's the right thing to do now, it'll be the right thing to do 24 hours from now, because we want to make sure that this feels right for you, that you're a good fit for us and we're a good fit for you. And we definitely encourage you to set up a call with us sometime tomorrow or even later today, and really start to let's just see if this makes sense. Right? We're not just trying to sell a program here. We're actually trying to make a difference in your business. That's what this is about. Because look, and my favorite part of this entire thing, of all the stuff that's on here, for me, to be honest, it's this 2 experts for the price of 1, because this is a new collaboration with Jay and myself, but this is not something new that we're doing. This is something Jay's done for many years, something I've done for many years. We're really good at what we do. This is just the first time where we're like, hey, Jay's like peanut butter, I'm chocolate. And we're like, hey, this tastes pretty good together. So we decided to put it together like this. And that's really what excites me. And that's why we could do the ROI guarantee. And that's why we don't need to pressure anyone into like buying right now. It's something that you can look at, take a look at the landing page here and get more information. And then set up a time and speak with us, and let's make sure it's the right thing for you first.
Yeah. So the 24-hour thing is, we don't want anyone to have regrets, right? How many times have you bought something and then the next day you're like, oh, I bought that. So, that's natural. We want to give you that comfort zone, to give you the 2 bonuses of the 3 hours of organic traffic content, plus what's the other bonus, Josh, for doing right away? The price.
Oh, we got the price.
the lower price of $19.97. Sorry, somehow
you forgot about that.
I forgot about that part. So we're giving you the price of $19.97 for the next 24 hours, plus the fast mover bonus module. Sorry about that. So again, we put our schedules in the chat. If you want to hop on a quick call with us tomorrow to just any questions you have about the program, you want to just, make sure that you're in the right place in your business trajectory to have this program benefit you. But just think, if you're charging $1,000 more, you need 2 clients to pay for this program. And more importantly, the kind of things, we're giving you skills. We're not giving you knowledge. That's the thing we want to pound in to the webinar today is that, we're not just offering you knowledge. We're working with you to develop skills. Those skills are going to pay dividends for the rest of your business.
Absolutely.
They're going to make your branding better. They're going to make your sales conversations better and more effective. So that's really what we're trying to do here is give you those skills. I want to throw one more thing out.
I was going to say, oh, go ahead, Jay.
Well, if you're ready at this point to jump in and join this program, if you do it before we end the webinar here in a few minutes, we will actually throw in an individual coaching session by one of us. You choose whoever you want based on where you think you need more help. You can do this after you go through the entire program. You can do it midway through the program. But this is a chance for you to have a one-on-one coaching session with Josh or I, a 1-hour session to work on your business and give you advice in terms of developing out these skills or any other things you want to work on in your business. I mean, Josh and I are not one-trick ponies. We have a lot of experience growing businesses and helping people. So that's the bonus. If you're ready to sign up before the webinar ends today, which is going to be ending here in a few minutes, we will go ahead and throw in that bonus one-on-one session. If you don't want to feel like you're making a rash decision, you want 24 hours to think about it, so you lock in this price and the fast mover bonus, then our calendar's in the chat, and you by all means feel free to schedule a call with us tomorrow. If for some reason you go to those calendars and there's not a time that works, just shoot us an email at info@skipthemarketing.com. And we will gladly work with you by email to schedule a time tomorrow that works for you.
Absolutely. And TF just said in the chat, I love how genuine you guys sound. And I bring that up not to thank you, TF, by the way, but I don't bring that up to pat ourselves on the back. I want to make a very good point here about it has to be genuine. We know everyone on this call is genuine. Most coaches and consultants are very, very genuine. Even most marketers are genuine. They truly believe what they're doing really helps. But I want you to know something about our presentation. There's nothing in here. There's no fancy graphics. There's no flashing lights. Like, this isn't something we try to make look better than it is. We're just telling you the honest truth because we think that's what people want. And I guarantee you, in your coaching business, in your consulting business, that's exactly what people want from you. They don't want the over-professionalism. They don't want the fancy stuff, the facade, the fancy script, the saying the right thing at the right time. They just want to, let's be honest, they just want to freaking know why you care. They want to know why you're talking to them and not someone else. They want to know what makes you, why are you the right person to bring your genius to the world? They want to know all these things. And so when you're clear yourself on all this stuff, you can be clear with others. And I think that's really what Jay and I are doing here. This is just us. This is, I'll be honest, this is, like I said, I talked about conviction. This is not what we do. This is what we are. I know Jay does this all day long. This is all he thinks about. He texts me at like 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever, like, he's got a question or something. It doesn't matter. This is what we are. We live and breathe this stuff because we love it so much. And it's a responsibility for us to share it with others. And I hope you feel the same way about your coaching and about your consulting practice as well, that you love it so much that you want to share it with others. And so this is how you do it and still be human.
So please go ahead and put some questions in the chat that we can try to address here before we wrap up. I want to circle back to something that someone said at the very beginning of the webinar, where they invested $10,000 in marketing and have zero results for it. So Josh and I, when we started to get to know each other, that's where we zeroed in. It's not like, oh, I do branding, no, I do sales. Hey, why don't we create something together and see if anybody's interested? In talking through all the clients that we've worked with, we came down to this one area that it really gets so many coaches stuck in growing their business. And we're not sitting here saying that we're going to promise you a 6 or 7 figure business. That alone separates us from 90% of the gurus that are out there, saying buy this easy button, buy this easy pill, and I'll make I'll guarantee you 6-7 figures. What we're guaranteeing you is that you will at very least earn back what you invest into this program. I think you're going to get a lot more from it. I know that from the clients that I've helped and the coaches I've helped over the last couple of years. And that's really what we're bringing to you.
And to your point, Jay, when I look at results, the short-term results is, yes, you get your investment back in terms of sales. But then the long-term results are the assets, the skills, the knowledge that you build that's permanent. You own those forever. Those can never be taken away from you. Those are things you can use moving forward. And you can even, especially in marketing, you can take your brand and your message and use that, and you should use that in marketing. What you learn in the sales conversation, you can use in other conversations as well. Because if you think any conversation is anything but some sort of version of sales, is it really? A lot of conversations you have, even beyond just that final conversation with a client or a potential client, it's about learning how to listen, how to build a relationship with another person. So this stuff we're going to be sharing with you, it's going to extend way, way beyond the narrow scope of just what we're talking about here. So yeah, there's so much more, but yeah, we can go on forever.
We got a question from Mike, who's saying,
yes.
Would you be willing to look over my website to see if we're a good fit? So yes, absolutely. We're happy to do that. And I can tell you that this is an area that overlaps, because I help a lot of people with the messaging on their websites from the selling perspective. I know Josh helps a lot of people with the messaging on their websites from the branding perspective. So you might have a tough choice, on if you had to pick one of us to do that for you. But here's the thing. That's something, again, you can bring to those coaching sessions, and we can do it as a group. And go ahead and review that website and give you some ideas and input into that. But
I know
yes,
Jay and I are both comfortable doing that live. We can hop on a call with you, or Jay says, in a group call, and pull it up, and we can just go through it. How is it flowing? What are you saying? Is it we can do that. So absolutely.
Yeah. And that's, Mike, also, though, if that's something that you want to get a comfort level on and schedule a call with one of us tomorrow before you jump in, that's exactly why we did that way, because we want to give you that cushion to make sure you feel like you made a great decision to join us. So Krista's asking, you said that attendees don't need to increase their marketing expenditures to get new clients from this program that they would have otherwise gotten. Would you talk about the resources they need instead, like a targeted database or existing marketing, et cetera? Krista, I think that if I understand the question, I think that's one of the things that we're doing in that bonus organic traffic session, where we go through, I forget how many different areas we cover in that section, but I think it's like 15 different ideas. And in each of those 15 ideas, we give you some tips and pointers and talk about some of the options that are out there that you can do, so that you can, again, we're not over promising. We're not saying that if you use these organic traffic methods, you're going to get 5,000 people into your lead funnel, into your marketing funnel. Because the whole point of this program is get 100 good ones, get 100 of the right people, and work on converting 10 of those into paying clients, versus get 1,000 in to your funnel, 10 trickle out. You're not good at selling, so you might get 2. So that's kind of the difference. And I'm not sure I answered your question.
No.
Josh, do you have anything to add?
Well, I do. So I almost feel like Krista might be asking also about ways to make business easier. So for example, having an online calendar, so that when people do want to book time with you, that it's easy for them to do that. CRM is also a good idea. So there's ways you can set up email campaigns. So there's ways to make business easier and to automate business such that you can spend more time coaching, you can spend more time reaching out, networking, presenting, doing the things that only you can do. So if that's your question, Krista, then yes, there are definitely a lot of things that you could put in place at a base level, but I would call those more business resources than marketing resources, in my opinion, because I think that they just go towards making business easier, not necessarily like a marketing per se, in the sense of being an amplifier of your message. So again, I don't know if we hit your question or not. Maybe between Jay and I, we kind of got the right idea.
The other thing we do is in that fast mover section about the organic traffic, we also provide a resources document that gives you some, some are free, some are paid. But the concept is now that you have, hopefully gotten some more clients and revenue, if you do want to make some investments into some of the marketing things, we have some trusted resources that we work with and recommend, and we include that. Excuse me. I see a question from Carla about the group coaching. And her question is, when are the group coaching sessions, and what if I can't make one? So that's a great question. Let me clarify that. So the group coaching is going to start Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and it will be set up weekly for Thursdays at 3 p.m. With this program, we're giving you access to 6 of those sessions, but it doesn't matter what 6 you come to. In other words, we're going to be rolling this group coaching out for the foreseeable future. So it doesn't matter when you come. So you can come to one, if you make week 1, you can come back week 3, you can come back week 6, it doesn't matter. You can come a total of 6 times, because in each of these group sessions, it's not like, okay, group 1, we're week 1, we're covering module 1, week 2, we're covering module 2. The intent of these group sessions is you can bring anything related to the course content as questions and things that you want feedback on in this thing. And frankly, you can bring anything to those group sessions, even if it's not related to our content. If we can help you, given our experience in working with coaches and helping them build their businesses, we're happy that we're there to help you, no matter what it takes. And so I hope that answers the question about the group coaching.
Yeah, I think that's a very important benefit, that this is at your own pace. So if you're going on vacation and you can't get to a certain module in time, that's fine, right? And you can just get the module done when you get back, and then hop on that next call if that's when it makes sense. Because everyone's got different schedules. We don't want to put pressure on someone that they have to do it at a certain time, and we want to make sure they also get exactly what they need out of every single session, every mastermind session, not just what we want to give them.
Yeah, and along those lines, if you're a high achiever, all the course content is available to you immediately. It's not drip, so that you have to wait. You get module 1 the first week and module 2 the second week. It's all right there as soon as you join the program. And again, if you're ready to join, we're just about to wrap this up. We're coming up on the hour. If you're ready to join now, and you join, by the time we end this webinar or a few minutes after, we're going to also offer you a one-on-one session for an hour with Josh or I at any point in the program. You can wait till you're done. You can do it in the middle, wherever you think that you might need the best help, and which of us might be able to help you the best. We're also offering that. Again, I see a last question in here, and I think we'll wrap it up, is can you talk a little bit more about the ROI guarantee and what that means? Josh, while I get some water.
Yep. So I think we did kind of cover that, but we'll cover it again here, that we're going to at least guarantee that you're going to get, in additional sales, your investment into this program while you're in the program. Or if that doesn't happen for whatever reason, which is highly unlikely, but if it doesn't, Jay and I are going to keep working with you, and we're going to make sure you do until you get to that investment. We don't want anybody, and this is important to us because this is a new collaboration. Like I said, this is not new in material. This is not new information for us, but it's a new collaboration. We want this to be successful. So we want people to get what they expect out of this program. We want them to get more than they expect and to be ridiculously happy, and give us, be willing to do testimonials and referrals. We really want to build this big because there's so many wonderful coaches and consultants with a heart of gold, a service of gold, right? And they just want to bring that to the world, and we want to help them do it. So this is just the beginning of something that's going to get much bigger. So we're willing to do this ROI guarantee because it's the right thing to do. And it's going to help really get this program out there in a massive way.
All right. Any last questions before we wrap this up? We really want to say thank you for coming. We hope you got some value today out of this. Again, we're here to help. We're not here to oversell, overpromise, and underdeliver. Our intent is to absolutely overdeliver in terms of what you get out of this program. Josh, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I'm just fired up, man. I'm just excited. I'm ready to rock and roll. This is going to be absolutely amazing experience, and looking forward to seeing everyone on the calls. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah. So again, if you have any questions further, you want to jump on a call with us tomorrow to discuss before you sign up, that's fine. But try to get in the next 24 hours so that you get that fast mover bonus. I'm telling you, that bonus alone is probably worth the price of the course. But we're here to help. Thanks again for coming, and reach out to us if you have any questions or have anything you want to discuss. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you, guys.